today we're going to decode the philosophy behind one of the most influential books ever written, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. It was published way back during the Great Depression, but its ideas on success have shaped millions of lives. So, what exactly is this philosophy, and where did it even come from? Let's dive in. Now, the first thing you need to know is that this wasn't just some idea somebody dreamed up overnight. Not at all. As the book itself says, this philosophy was 25 years in the making. It was the result of a massive, real-world study into what really separates the ultra-successful from, well, everybody else. So, where did this epic journey begin? Well, the whole story kicks off with a meeting between two very different people, a young, hungry reporter named Napoleon Hill and one of the wealthiest men the world has ever known, the steel tycoon Andrew Carnegie. So get this. Back in 1910, Carnegie basically throws down this incredible challenge. He asks Hill if he'd be willing to spend the next 2 decades of his life, get this, without pay, studying the common threads between the world's greatest achievers. Hill said yes, and he went on to analyze over 500 giants of the time, people like Henry Ford and Thomas Edison, all to find a universal formula for success. And the result, finally published in 1938, was this book. And this right here. This is the mystery that drove Napoleon Hill's entire quest. Carnegie didn't just talk about hard work, he hinted at a secret, a magic law of the mind that he believed was the real source of his fortune. So Hill's mission wasn't just to study successful people, it was to uncover this secret and share it with the world. Okay, so this leads us to the absolute bedrock of this entire philosophy. It's a concept you really have to wrap your head around to get the rest of it. The idea that thoughts are things. That they aren't just little sparks in your brain, but tangible forces with real power. Now, the central idea here completely flips the script on what most of us are taught about making money. Hill says that true riches don't start with a shovel in your hand or a long day at the factory. No, they begin with a very specific state of mind, with a clear, definite purpose. And this contrast is absolutely crucial. The common belief is that wealth comes from grinding it out from sheer hard labor. But Hill's research pointed to something else entirely. He argued that while work is part of it, gigantic fortunes are almost never the result of just labor. Instead, they flow from a crystal-clear purpose combined with a very particular mental state. And what does he call this mental state? Money consciousness. And look, this isn't just wishing for money or hoping for a lucky break. It's a deep, unshakable belief, a mindset so totally soaked in the desire for wealth that you can literally see yourself, feel yourself already having it, long before it ever shows up in reality. So, if that money consciousness is where you want to get to, what's the engine that gets you there? Well, according to Hill, the starting point of any great achievement is desire. And we're not talking about a casual want. He means a deep, all-consuming, burning desire. There's a story in the book that just perfectly captures this idea. It's about a man named Edwin C. Barnes, and he had one single massive ambition, to become the business partner of the great inventor Thomas Edison. And the book makes a really key point here. He wanted to work with Edison, not just for him. I mean, just look at the situation he was in. Barnes was, for all intents and purposes, a nobody. He had no money, couldn't even afford the train ticket to go see Edison. He had zero connections. He didn't know a soul who could help him. By any normal logic, his dream was completely impossible. But Barnes had one thing that outweighed all of that. He had a burning desire. It was more than a hope. It was a white-hot obsession. And, spoiler alert, he did it. He eventually became the exclusive distributor for one of Edison's inventions, made a fortune, and proved that a powerful desire truly is the starting point. But okay, desire by itself isn't a magic wand. You can't just wish for something and expect it to poof into existence, right? That burning desire has to be channeled. It needs a practical, actionable blueprint to turn that intangible idea into a tangible reality. And Hill's philosophy lays out that blueprint very clearly. It all starts with step 1, having a definite purpose that's fueled by that burning desire. Step 2 is creating a definite plan and then taking continuous action on it. Step 3 is all about your mindset. You have to consciously shut the door on all negative, discouraging thoughts. And finally, step 4, forming a friendly alliance with other people. And that fourth step, the alliance, leads us to one of Hill's most famous and honestly most powerful concepts. He noticed that huge successes are almost never a one-person show. They're the product of an incredible collaboration. He gave it a name, the mastermind. So, what is a mastermind? Well, it's so much more than just teamwork. It's a strategic partnership where two or more people blend their knowledge and effort, all working in perfect harmony toward one single goal. Hill believed this literally creates a third, invisible mind, a source of amplified power and ideas. And think about this. Every single successful person Hill studied, from Carnegie to Ford to Edison, they all relied on this. They surrounded themselves with people who had the knowledge they didn't. Hill was adamant. Your plans for success have to be created with, and checked by, the members of your mastermind group. It's all about shared knowledge and collective power. All of this, the desire, the plan, the mastermind, it all boils down to one incredibly profound and empowering truth about you and your own mind. Here it is. This is the ultimate conclusion of the entire philosophy. The one thing in the entire universe that you have absolute 100% control over is your own mind. You and you alone have the power to choose what thoughts you focus on, which ones you feed, and which ones you starve. And that brings us to the book's most famous line, which he borrowed from a poem. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. It's just a powerful declaration of your own personal power. Because you control your thoughts, you ultimately control your destiny. So, after all this, the philosophy really brings us back to one simple but massive question for you. Forget about casual wants and wishes for a second. What is the one definite purpose that is so important to you that it could ignite a true, unstoppable, burning desire? Because according to Napoleon Hill, finding the answer to that question, well, that's the starting point of everything.